we live? We are live. Swimming with the Pontoon number 12. Here we are. And, number 12, right before Christmas. I know we've got a little bit of some winter weather here in the U.S. A little bit of everybody is getting a little bit cold. It's a little chilly here, not as bad as in many places where they've got snow and ice on the ground. Uh, probably going to have freezing temperatures here in Louisiana, but right now it's still cool. Hey, how we doing? MR2 scroll. Yes, I'm here. It's been I almost called it that I'd maybe take today off, but I figured I'd come and catch up with everybody. Today I did have a good weekend. I hope you had a good one. It's been productive, not only here in the shop, but in the car shop. I got the Edelbrock supercharger torqued down. I had to modify my cherry picker in order to get the supercharger far enough back, um, into the car so that it actually would work. And even then, I still had to, as I was lowering it down, push it down into the car in order to get the supercharger in place. Now, with the Magnuson, that was not too much of a problem because the Magnuson used the older style single piece gasket for the intake manifold, whereas this Edelbrock uses the factory style, newer style O-ring gaskets, which fit into place. Well, that makes it kind of iffy when you set that supercharger down on the manifold and have to scoot it around a little bit. Those O-rings can pop out. Now, in order to make that a little bit easier and to keep that from happening, I put a little bit of sealant on each one of those O-ring gaskets, and then on the surface of the heads, I actually put a little bit of grease so that when it sat down, it'd slide around easier without popping one of those gaskets out. But that should be for the car channel. I will get on that. I hope everybody has had a good weekend. We are right before Christmas. I know. Looking at the way the week is going to go, I should be able to keep not only Wild Card Wednesday, but also swimming with the Pontoon this coming week. So that's my plan. We'll see how everything goes. I should have a few interesting things for Wild Card Wednesday this week, as long as everything gets delivered in time. Nothing as cool as the Zev was. That's been a really cool project. I've enjoyed messing with that and building a Leonidas for it. And it's a worthy chassis. I like it still. That grip module is not my favorite, and already planning on getting that sent out to get stippled and fixed. So as for this week, the first thing I want to bring up is a small business that does stippling that you guys might want to check out, and that is Piccoli. Let me verify. It might be 1 or 2 C's. We know how those go. Let me verify real quick, and that is. I don't see that he's got a website up yet. It's Piccoli, Piccoli Gunworks, Gunwerks LLC. And it's actually Piccoli Gunworks, one word, on Instagram. Check him out. He's got some really good patterns for his stippling. And there are a lot of different patterns out there and different tips that people use. And I can remember asking on the stippling pages when I was interested in doing it, what type of tips do you use, and the normal type of stuff that really pisses those guys off. But he's got some really neat patterns of his own that I've not seen from other people. So check him out. Smaller, I think he's only got less than 200 followers on Instagram. I haven't checked his other socials, and I didn't see a website, but the work I see, it's pretty excellent. So check them out on Instagram. I'll probably put a link in the description when I post the video up fully. So what else? What else is going on? If you're on Instagram, you may, hey Steven, what's up, man? I got your email. I hope you got mine. We'll have to do something. I got a little bit of a sniffle going on. It's the cold weather. So if you hear me sniffling and it gets annoying, just let me know. I'll move the microphone or something. I spent most of the day outside in the shop. What was I talking about? Oh, if you're on Instagram, I don't know if any of you guys follow Zafiri Precision, but they kind of let the cat out of the bag on the next sticker release. But if you haven't watched them, then you don't know that they let the cat out of the bag. And I might let the cat out of the bag here, just for you guys that are watching, get a chance to get a little sneak peek of the next sticker set that's coming up. Yeah, no, it's okay. It's all right, Steven. It's been an interesting week here. It's always an interesting week, but I did get your email. I shot you a reply back, and I figured you were probably busy, anyways. And I think I followed your channel. I may not have. I meant to, and if I haven't, I will. And we'll talk. You did. You ordered a sticker. Okay, good deal. I'll make sure I get one out to you. Doing most of my shipping, most of the time I ship out Mondays. I'll normally ship out like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, depending on what's going on. But at the very least, I ship almost everything throughout the week out on Monday. Then as I get out into the world when I'm not stuck in the shop. So yeah, you got to have one for the toolbox, at least one. All right. So we do still have, I've still got the contest going. I'm going to extend that contest out until the middle of January, just because of how busy it is during this part of the year, and the fact that the mail decided to lose some of these guys. So the contest is still going. It will be out until middle of January. I'm gonna extend it out till like the 15th of January, and then somebody is going to win a sticker pack for third place, a t-shirt for second place, and then a Peacemaker trigger system for the most creative out there. And that should be fun. So while we're at it, let's take a look at the next sticker. Okay, I'm not listing these yet on the website. A couple of them are out there. Now, I had built some triggers for Zafiri Precision for one of their customers, and I sent some of the new ones, and they posted it on Instagram in their story because I forgot to tell them not to. I've had a few people hit me up about them, and so cat's kind of out of the bag. For you guys that are here watching, you want to see the new one? This one's kind of fun. It's another, the Trigger Jedi one is my favorite. I do really enjoy this one because I'm kind of a geek, and you guys will get it. I'm gonna show it real quick, talk about it for just a moment, and then that's it. Because I've got a way that I actually want to officially launch these things. So here we go. Boom. Got the Thanos snap. All right. That's it. If you missed it, you're going to have to rewind. The Thanos snap. Because after the snap, the rest of them disappear. At least that's what I said after I came up with the idea. I was like, okay, well, that actually makes sense. So yeah, I'm a dork. I'm a dork like that. But yeah, that's the next stickers that are coming out. If you want one, shoot me a message. I'll get one sent out to you guys early, since you guys were here. All right. Including you, MR2 Scroll. I still owe you for me blocking you off the channel, so I'll have I'll send one with you with your order, or send one extra. Okay. So that's the new one. It's fun. I've got another design in work, but I'm not gonna release them all at once. I've got some good ideas. It's kind of all, you know, with my face because it's fun. I have fun with that. So, okay. We've got Christmas coming up, and then we've got SHOT Show coming up. I will not be making SHOT Show this year. It's busy here. I um, did not expect to have the time off, and I didn't also expect to not have the extra financial ability that my corporate job allowed me. So it makes it a little bit tighter than I would like to do the SHOT Show thing. Excuse me. So I'm not gonna make SHOT Show this year. Next year, I would really like to, especially with the big push that I've got going on. But this year, SHOT Show, not so much. It'll be interesting to see what's coming out during SHOT Show. This week, I saw that Glock has their 10 millimeter that I guess is already out there. I didn't even realize. I knew it was coming, but does it? It could be my connection. It really could be my connection. Um, Let me know if everybody else is having trouble. Sometimes the connection out here in the swamp is not the greatest. I know my cell phone signal is there's nothing when it comes to uh, I have Verizon, and Verizon gets no signal out here except for every once in a while. Okay. Hey, what's up, Christina? Good to have you here. And my Verizon, I know after we had the hurricane in 2020, both hurricanes in 2020, I was out of communication. It knocked down the cable. It was bad. But okay, so 2020, or not 2020, but we got SHOT Show coming up. The 10 millimeter Glock already launched. I've seen a couple pictures on Facebook and Instagram where people already have these. I knew they were coming, but I kind of thought it was going to be more of a SHOT Show thing. And then the Glock 47, which is just an amalgamation of a Glock 19 with a long slide on it, basically. Or it's a Glock 19X or Glock 45 with a Glock 17 slide with an addition on it, kind of like a Glock 34, which is what the Border Patrol uses. That seems to have released. And I also noticed, yeah, the Glock 47. I mean, let's be honest. When they came out with the Glock 19 or the Glock Generation 5, it's all just, the whole modular thing, because the Glock 17 uses a Glock 19 locking block or barrel lug on it. So really the Generation 5 Glock 17 is just a stretched Glock 19. So, they took the modularity to the next level. And the Glock 47 doesn't make a whole bunch of sense, but then again, at the same time, it does, because at that point you can get rid of a Glock 17. You could almost get rid of the Glock 17 altogether and just have the Glock 47. And I don't think they'll do that, but at the same time they might, and that would make the Glock 34 look really funky. I mean, in a way, it would make the Glock 34 look like a Glock 17L, and then imagine a Glock 17L on a 47. It gets kind of crazy. It is what it is. I mean, that's Glock for you. That's their version of changing things, and so be it. Do I want? Kind of. I mean, I would kind of want a Glock 47 because I like the 19X and the 45, but at the same time, I got no problem with a full size frame. Got some got some nose drainage. It's a little bit chilly for me, so oh, I'm from down south at this point. So when it gets below 60, I'm almost cold. So okay. So SHOT Show, I'm also, yeah, some badger snot. Now you know where it comes from. Damn it. My secret. Uh, now you know where it comes from. Badger is actually Honey Badger is one of the nicknames I got, so that's how I came up with the whole badger snot thing. So that's where that came from. It's not actually my snot. It might be one of the secret ingredients, but it does work. It definitely works. Um, the other thing I noticed with the Glock release, and I'm gonna look into this a little bit farther because, like I said, I didn't realize all this stuff was actually about to drop or already dropped. There's a Glock performance trigger. I noticed that in one of the little pictures along with their announcement with the Glock 47 and the Glock 10 mil, the Glock 20 announcement. I saw a Glock performance trigger, and it talks about a flat face, but it also looked curved. So I'm wondering where I didn't get a chance to really look into it before I started the video because I thought we had some more time before SHOT Show, and some of this stuff may have already released, which also leads me back to the Generation 5 10 millimeter. I need to see inside of one of those because did they change the internals of the big caliber Glocks to a Generation 5 style? Makes me wonder. So I'll be doing some digging on that. I'm wondering Glock performance trigger. I have a feeling that it's probably just a minus connector with a flat with a Glock 17 shoe. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it is Glock we're talking about. I don't see them really doing anything too terribly crazy, but I could be wrong. So I'm going to look into it a little bit closer. It was just part of the graphic I saw that talked about the 10 millimeter and the Glock 47 being released. So we'll see. I'll look into it. I'll see what I can find out. Be interesting. I not obviously not worried about it because it'll just be pretty basic. But it could be fun to play with. Maybe they've actually made some changes. We will see. But back to the generation 5 10 millimeter and 45 caliber. I am wondering if they've actually done anything to the internals because I really hope they have. I hope they've changed some stuff around because one of my gripes with the 10 millimeter and 45 caliber, aside from finding any trigger parts for them right now are almost impossible, or if they are, they're extremely expensive, which upsets people that want those, um, is the vertical extension. The way that vertical extension is made on those models, there's not much room for modification at all. Like if you, and especially depending on different variables, like how that thing fits, that slide fits on there, you will run into trouble messing with that vertical extension at all. And a reduced pressure spring or rounded safety plunger doesn't make too much of a difference. It'll hang up on that thing like crazy. That is one of the, aside from the safety aspect of it, one of the reasons why the Leonidas is not available for the 45 and 10 millimeter. I am hoping they've changed that some. If they have changed that to have a little bit more space and to be closer to a generation 5, that would be awesome. I would love that. I would love to be able to offer people who want the big caliber a Leonidas, a safe Leonidas, because I'm not going to build one that's iffy. We already got enough triggers out there that are iffy, that people are building and making and selling. So I'll be interested to see. I'm going to get with my local FFL that I work with a lot and see if they can get a hold of one. And I'll try to get one in for a shop test model, or at least take a look, do some measurements, and see what they've really changed. I'm interested. I'm definitely interested in that. Um, Me personally, I'm not a big, I don't need a 45 caliber, a 10 millimeter Glock myself, but obviously other people do. They're popular. There's just not a huge demand for them, and uh, those, however, who are interested in them, they want something. They want to be able to customize their Glock like the 9mm Glocks, and I understand that. There's just only so much that I can do with them. Hopefully, they've changed it around. I really do. I really hope so. So we'll see as I can take the time to find a model to take a look at. What else has been going on this week? I gotta say, I do need to take a step back from probably social media, Facebook mainly. I found myself people seeing people post their Chinesium triggers. I've had a couple instances where I've probably said a little too much just because I'm somewhat passionate about it. So I found myself on a dagger group the other day arguing a little bit with somebody about their Chinesium aim surplus trigger that's a fake of the boogeyman. Uh, there's no need for that. I guess I get a little bit passionate, so I did probably overstep my deal a little bit. Christina, my favorite Glock is my overall favorite. The Zev group was a different deal. Well, I got a little overstep on the Zev group, but mainly it was a dagger group. My favorite Glock, Christina, is probably a 17. All around, it's either a 17. Well, honestly, it's probably a 31. I prefer the 31. But overall, it would probably be a 17, maybe a 19, but I really do prefer the 17. I do like the larger frame. I do like the longer grip for my medium-sized baby hands. Uh, yeah, especially when I want to teach people something. I mean, granted, yes, I do have my sales intentions, but at the same time, there's also when I see people just posting stupid crap or cheap triggers and telling everybody how amazing they are when they don't know what they're talking about. Andre, yes, 17 is the best. 17, I have a 17 right here, actually, as a matter of fact. Right here, this guy. This is a 17 with stipple work done by Austin Yoder. Now, I don't know that he's doing a lot of stipple work at this time, and this is probably one of his earlier frames. It's got his logo on here that's been laser etched. Um, really, he shows and does really good work. He showed a lot of promise. I thought he was going to get a lot bigger, but younger guy. I think he was going to college and he'll probably come back and just blow the world up with his work. He does some awesome work. You don't see a lot of it nowadays. Um, yeah, it's easy. You can ruin a frame pretty easy stippling. It's one of the reasons why I don't do it. Maybe if I had spent more time practicing and ruining things, kind of like I ruined a lot of triggers and still ruin triggers, I'd be a stipple guy, but it's not for me. This frame is really grippy. He did an amazing job with this one, and he just really clean, really excellent work. It's just a beautiful gun. It's got one of the early excommunicados in it. This thing, I believe, 2019. I believe this thing was one of the very first excommunicados. It actually the precursor to the competition system in it with agency trigger shoe. Then, as I brought out the excommunicado, it got one of the first gray excommunicados, and it's just a beauty. The other cool thing about this one is the barrel. It's a Zafiri Precision slide, one of their ported slides, and this is one of their early ported slides. This guy right here, really love that design. And if anything, I probably on the Zev OZ9, it's probably going to be one of their ported slides, and that's probably one of the reasons why I brought this one out. But This one has, let's see if we can get the light on it. If you can see that, that is a Tactical Pontoon logo on a ported Zafiri barrel. I did a run of these guys with the 17, um, and I had planned on doing the slides as well. This was around early 2019 actually, early to mid 2019. Things were a bit crazy. I actually have a few of these barrels left. So if you have a ported Zafiri 17 slide and you need a barrel, I happen to have one here in the shop that is a bazooka green with a little bit of fleck in it. Never did. I haven't put this one on in a slide yet. It was Cerakoted by Ravenworks, and he actually doesn't do much in the way of Cerakoting anymore, but does excellent work. He was the guy who did the Iron Man Glock 19. He did the Cerakote on that, and this guy right here, I would be willing to let it go. It's pretty nice. If you're interested in this guy, let me know. If you've got a Zafiri ported slide and you want something a little bit special, it is available. Let me know. It's pretty neat. I like I said, I did a couple runs of barrels early on. A pontoon flatline would be pretty neat. I'm not gonna lie. I would not be against something like that, especially here as I go into the future and bring the brand back up to what I had planned on doing. There was a time that Tactical Pontoon was growing quite a bit outside of just triggers. My plans in 2018 going into 2019 were quite a bit bigger. Had some stuff go on, and I kind of shrunk Tactical Pontoon just to triggers. The Excommunicado came out at the right time to keep me involved and keep me working at the business, because there was a time when I had almost shut down the doors. Like, I was almost done. I said, the industry is not what I thought it was. Some of the people in the industry were not who I thought they were. And I almost did. I almost shut it down. And I'm glad I didn't. Not even just because this is what I do nowadays, but just because I really do enjoy what I do. I enjoy building these triggers. I enjoy getting a chance to help people with their builds. I enjoy teaching people about triggers, and being part of builds that there's some really good ones. I've got one of my customers hit me up the other day, or actually today. It's been a long day. About a combat master that he has, which came with a Timney trigger, and of course, it's got a shitty reset, and he wants to get that thing fixed. Well, we're going to build a Leonidas for it. I actually have to check. He may get. I can't promise this. I got to look at it a little bit closer. But a Train with Purpose built into Leonidas specs. I got to see if there's enough room to turn the safety into what it needs to be for a Leonidas. We'll see. If not, it'll be a Boogeyman, which you can never go wrong with a Boogeyman trigger. This is one of the early ones. Before they added a little bit more travel into it. It's one of the earlier ones. Like I said, I like all of the Boogeymans. I do kind of like some of the earlier ones just a little bit better, but at the same time, when you've got a Leonidas, what's it matter? You've already taken up all the travel safely, and it's good to go. Also, gotta hawk some wares while we're here. Do have in the shop ready to go not a Leonidas. It's an Excommunicado system, black and purple. This guy, the customer ran into an issue, and he needed right before I was going to send it, he needed to back out of the deal. So without waiting for it, I do have a black and purple Excommunicado. It's currently set up as a Generation 4. It was for a Shadow Systems, but I can easily change it into a Generation 5 or a Generation 3. If somebody's interested, shoot me an email. I'll make a good deal on this guy. Hawking somewhere, some final Christmas money, if you will. Basically, get it out of my shop. So another one I've been seeing a lot, and I'm going to go into a mini rant about this guy just because. But before I go into the mini rant, if you guys are watching, hit the like button. Maybe subscribe if you want, but hit the like button because I'm going to be talking about something that I really didn't plan on. I didn't want to really talk about, and I don't really want to do a video on completely, but maybe I will. If you want to hear about it, hit the like button. That way, gives me a little bit of want to do so. And what that is, these guys right here, Timney triggers. Okay, I see a lot of them. I understand why people buy them. I understand that there's been. I'm gonna take a drink here. Gotta shake up my pre-workout a little bit because I'm amped. That's what I do. Got my caffeine. I see Timneys all over the place. I see people recommending Timneys for EDC. I see people recommending Timneys to brand new people that have never modified a Glock. And it bothers me. They're cheap. They are very cheap. And I get that. I understand that a company like Timney can put out a cheap part like that and they definitely don't dominate the space. This is not me being jealous of a Timney. I'm not jealous of Timney. When they first hit the market and I saw the price, I was like, oh, well, it's kind of cheap. And then the problem is how they're designed. Okay. Now, I happen to have mine. This is an earlier one. This, like I said, this is back from when they first came out. I don't know that they've really changed them up very much, but I did dig this one out of my pile of trigger crap, extra crap, and because I'm going to revisit it. I don't know that I'll do a full video, but then again, I might, because I do want to bring up some of the problems that these things have and do a video on them. However, I know that there's going to be a lot of pushback from that because supposedly, there's kits that make them reliable and make them safe and all that. And digging into that sort of crowd, I just don't know that I want to really do that. But at the same time, I feel compelled to do so because it's not a good idea to have these triggers out there when I know, having dealt with a lot of different people and people that I would have expected to have more knowledge about this platform than they really do. I've dealt with a lot of gun builders and gunsmiths that didn't know enough about the system and are recommending things that maybe they shouldn't. Um, yeah, yeah. Firing pin lone wolf. I know. Um, so I don't know that I want I want to, but at the same time, I learn because there's quite a crowd on these things, and there's people who believe that they are something that you can EDC or something that you should try to. I had a guy that when I told them that it was not a good idea to be running a Timney trigger, he broke out into a fact that yes, he was able to get proper cruciform interface with his by shimming this and he had several different steps. And I said, that's great for you, somebody who took the time to understand it. That's great. But for the majority of people out there, they don't either have time or have the knowledge to do that because that's not their thing. They want a drop-in trigger. It's basically sold as a drop-in trigger, and it's really not. It really shouldn't be marketed as that. And just as many people as I have seen that claim they've run thousands of trigger or thousands of rounds through it and never had an issue, I see just as many people talking about um, uh, light primer strikes as well as the cruciform issue or safety issue. Um, that's because there is a wide variety of tolerances with the Glock platform. So I just feel very torn about the whole thing. It's not a jealousy thing. Being able to put out a light trigger for $150 is, especially for a company their size, is not difficult. It is innovative. I will give them that. It's a competition trigger. Yes, the average person does not do safety checks, and I've got a big. The average person, unfortunately, does not read anything on the website. Look at the pictures, and I do, and I don't say this because I think a lot of people are stupid. They're not. There are some people that buy things and they expect them to work right out of the box. It's not always like that. Everything that you buy, it truly has a caveat. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I've bought, trying to think of something. I mean, I'm used to it coming from the performance side of things, car wise. I'm used to buying something that's made for my platform that I have to modify to fit to make it work. Don't get me wrong, I would love to say, for example, the supercharger. You still have to modify things. I would love to have just bought something and be able to just plug it in and go. The same goes with aftermarket tuners for vehicles. You would hope that it would just plug in and go, and it's not always like that. Triggers are just the same. Safety checks need to be checked. That is part of it, and people don't always do that. They don't know what a Glock armor's plate is, and I've seen hey, Rodney, yes, Mopar, and Andre, 2JZ the world. I haven't played with the 2JZ, so I'm a Mopar guy. I've dealt with enough people that have taken their things to gunsmiths that even those people that they're trusting aren't fully knowledgeable about the Glock system. And it's not like the Glock is new. It's been around. It's kind of popular. But some of the basic skills and ideas still are over their head. It does make doing a high performance trigger system on a large scale kind of difficult. Andre, I know you guys at Boogeyman run into some stuff with, and I've dealt with TJ on different design aspects of the trigger shoes and trigger bars when going through that during the great shortage. Still running into stuff like that. Um, there's a lot that goes into it, and with all the different tolerance stacks, it does make it difficult to make something that's high performance that the general population who are not super knowledgeable can just drop in and go. Um, you know, I talk about not being big on doing the drop in originally. When my drop-in kits with the Peacemaker kit and the TWP 4.5, and when I could do the equalizer, um, you know, it does. They're mostly drop-in, but like any Glock, you might have to do some adjustment. It does open it up to a wider audience, and as time goes on, that does become one of my bigger sellers. But my heart is really in the excommunicado competition system and the Leonidas system They do take a little bit more work, and they do take some fitment, especially the Leonidas. At times, there's some additional fitment that may come into the picture, because to make it safe, there is some definite clearancing on that vertical extension, which if a gun's really tight, it can run into some issues with that safety plunger, or maybe even the slide itself. You might need to do some additional clearancing, whether you send it back to me or whether you're careful with a some people use a Dremel, uh, even with like a jeweler's file, just to get it nice and tight without taking away too much material. Yeah. Yes, you can only get so close to it being a drop in. And regardless, Steven says, regardless, all triggers can benefit from some fine tuning. All of them. You are correct. You might get lucky, and out of the box, the drop in may be perfect. Maybe. And even with some tuning, it may not benefit because it's already right there. But the chances of that, not great. Andre, Gen 4 is the biggest headache. Gen 4 is the biggest headache. I don't know whether it's the trigger guard opening. That's me talking about trigger guard openings again. They're funky. It's got like they've got a fairly wide tolerance on those. It seems like if any ever catch the safety, it's the Generation 4. The other thing on Generation 4s I run into more often than not is the slides seem to fit a little bit tighter. I run into some issues with the safety plungers. Just something that I've noticed with Generation 4s. It's a weird generation, and I'm not 1,000% as to why, but Generation 4 is kind of a pain in the butt. And it had some weird changes which raised the weight of the trigger, aside from just the vertical extension, the little bump on the vertical extension. It's a weird generation. Generation 5, I like Generation 5. The trigger spring change is a good thing. It did change the dynamics of the brake characteristics. I found that it brings the weight up a little bit, but I've always found it to be a bit more crisp when tuned correctly. And then of course there's some geometry differences which also help with that. So yeah, as always, yes, the radius was slightly changed, and that is one of the things when that generation initially launched, they talked about brake characteristics and reset characteristics. It's not super noticeable to most people, but because I mean, you pull the trigger, but I know the first one I felt, it was something that I did notice. Felt like a Glock trigger, just a little bit different, a little bit quicker reset. And there for a while, I actually toyed with, and still do, with my different test systems, running Generation 5 stuff in a Generation 3. Also, just so many different variations of different things. New York Springs, those are always fun to modify and put into a build. Just so many different variations, and those are different videos I want to put up on the channel, is just some different fun variations for people to play with and try, like a New York Spring with a Generation 5 in a Generation 3 housing. Just let it ride up on top of there. Just different combinations. Did anybody catch the connector video I did? Was it Thursday or was it Tuesday? It may have been Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. Well, the connector video I did, I had fun doing that. I broke out the macro lens and was able to get up really close, so we could take a look and see the different tooling marks and the different geometry in the different connectors. So I plan on doing more videos like that. It was a neat video. I do need to I want to get a little bit of a different tripod housing or tripod so that I can get closer to, because I actually had to hold everything up to the lens. It wasn't bad, but in order for me to be able to point stuff out, it made it kind of a pain in the butt. But it was a neat video. I enjoyed doing that. So I will be doing more videos with the macro lens so we can get up close. That lens actually has the capability to get even closer than what I was able to do with that video. However, the the closer the closer you get, more magnified you get, the more light you have to have, and then the narrower the depth of field. So the focus point when it gets more zoomed in like that becomes even narrower, so it gets fuzzy really quick. So in order to nail that and get it good, even more magnified, it's kind of a pain in the butt. However, I am working on it. It will be in further videos that I do, because I like those little details like that. It'd be neat to show you guys some stuff. And so I kind of put that connector video together because we had talked about the different manufacturers of connectors and how quite a few of them are the same. I went looking through my stash of connectors, and I seem to have destroyed some in different projects. So I've got a Lantac coming in, and it was another one that I wanted us to be able to take a look at. So, like I said, I'll be doing more videos like that where we can actually get a nice close up of, excuse me, of different things. So those are videos that are coming up. Something else. This is kind of a wider audience thing. Here in 2023, as I'm pushing for the more retail exposure with my drop-ins, I'm also, and I've talked to a couple different shops, and I'll be reaching out to more of them. But I have an installer program coming up for custom builders that do stipple work, Cerakote, and that sort of thing, where they can add my services on top. So you can basically have a one-stop shop for your trigger needs when you go, or actually for your custom gun needs. Or if, say for example, you buy a trigger and you want somebody to install it that might be closer, because I don't do installs, but for example, you might have one of these shops closer to you. You can bug a shop to get on the program list where they can do the install as well as do the tuning. I'll be doing information for them so they can do my style of tuning. So you'll have packages where you can tune your actual trigger already to my specs, or a full competition build with your trigger, kind of like the Pontoonize your trigger, where they'll send it to me. I'll finish building it up, polish it, do all the good stuff and the modifications, and then they'll be able to install it and do the tuning while they do the rest of your work. So there's that, and then they'll also have access to a dealer network of basically being able to buy the drop-ins or excommunicados or Leonidas, and they'll have the know-how to finish the install on those triggers. So that's something I've got coming up in 2023. I've been working on it behind the scenes. I've got a couple shops that are already basically on board. Texas Weapon Works, for one, he'll pretty much be the pilot program, and that will not only give you the chance to, like I said, the retail side, you should be able to see more tactical pontoon trigger drop-in triggers out there in the world. But the other thing is having custom shops where, when you send that gun off, you're getting a good trigger system. If you opt for a trigger system, you'll have the Tactical Pontoon system on board, or at least get it tuned to Tactical Pontoon specs. That's coming out. I'm excited about that because I see a lot of small builders that, you know, they're putting in Tyrant triggers, because they're relatively inexpensive and they're they look better. Well, this would allow them to still do that if they wanted to, or give them the option to get a better trigger at a better price and get something good that can be offered with a name behind it instead of just a basic Tyrant trigger. So that's something I got coming up. Excited about that because gives you guys the chance, or those people out there a chance, to get a good trigger right out of the box with a good price and technical experience to back it up. If they've got a problem, they can get a hold of me, and I'm sorry, got some badger snot coming out. So yeah, yeah, I would rather stick to an OEM than a Tyrant as well. P65 slides. Hey, it's going to be Glock. It's going to start out with Glock. May do some P320 stuff, maybe some VP9, but for the most part, we are talking about Glock because that's the one I've dug the most into, and I don't want to step in. I don't want to spread myself too thin. I mean, I've got enough girth to be spread. I could definitely be spread out quite a bit more than I already am, but I don't want to spread myself out too thin because at the end of the day, I'm still just one person. So it'll probably stick mostly to Glock when it comes to that installer program. Maybe as time goes on, there'll be more options as we go. But I do want to stick to what I know, and I don't want to. I don't want to get to the point where I'm not on top of things, or I want to know what I'm doing, and I want to make sure that the guys that run with my name know what they're doing as well. So that's I do expand. I do want to expand, and this is me expanding, and this is me growing into new fields. But I got to be careful. I do want to make sure that it's I keep the quality behind the Tactical Pontoon name and my own sanity, because there are times when we've seen companies grow and they do some really good stuff, and then the quality really starts going downhill because they've expanded beyond a certain point. I don't want to get to that point. So that's just my little rant about that. But I'm always interested in knowing more and growing, not just my stomach. I want to grow more than just that. So, yes, there you go. MR2, your 85 through 95s. For me, it used to be neons when it comes to the car thing, and I still love my neons. I've definitely grown into the Challenger Hemi thing. I've learned more about those than I originally planned, and I still have a lot more to go on those. So, yeah, car channel, it's coming. It is coming. The Sendology 101 channel is coming. At least one video a week of something. I've been uploading some shorts to that as I've been working out in the shop to get things going. So I am planning on the Syndology 101 channel to launch off the ground. So it is coming. But almost at the hour mark. If you guys have anything you want to bring up, or any questions, or different things, hit me up before we get out of here. I'll let you guys have the rest of your Sunday evening. No, Monday will be here before you guys know it. And work week, but we've got Christmas on the way. I should have Wild Card Wednesday. I don't know for sure what it's going to be. It might be another macro video, or we might just be hanging out talking about a variety of different things. I am going to be looking into more information on the Generation 5 Glock 20, and I'm going to see if I can track down one of those Glock performance triggers. The Zev trigger, well, I did a video on the Glock, the Zev trigger itself. And then I do have the OZ9 Leonidas. It's live on the website. I actually am building. I only have the Peacemaker Leonidas on the website right now, but I'm building a Boogeyman Peacemaker for another customer. So they're coming along. They're coming along good. The Zev chassis, because I've had one in here before. I didn't have a dedicated one for the shop originally, so I only did the Excommunicado competition series for it. But now that I've got the full time one here in the shop, I've got the Leonidas is up and running, and it's the one that takes the most amount of work. It takes more work than a standard Glock. There's a little bit of difference that makes a difference in the Leonidas, but they're live. They're rocking and rolling. I'm building a couple here soon, so that's what I got going on with the Zev. I do need to get another grip module here so that I can get it sent out to Sapper Tactical to fix that ugly Zev grip. Also, while I'm at it, I do want to get a magwell for it. It's made for a magwell, a spot for a magwell, and it looks kind of funky without it. So while I'm at it, I'll get that done. So yeah, we've got stuff going on. It's a busy end of the year. It will be a busy beginning of the year. Yes, MR2 scroll. We'll get you a Leonidas built up, and it will truly be worthy. It'll be as fast as one of your MR2s, unless you build slow ones. But don't build slow ones. I know you build fast ones. If not, we can't be friends. All right. So, yeah, I mean that's about what I've got for this week. Got my Timney rant out and my backing up from social media on Facebook groups anyways a little bit. Good. Fast only. It's the only way to do it. Got my Timney rant a little bit out of the way. I'll do a video. I am going to do a video. Again, like I said, I want to be careful. I don't want to piss off too many people. I'm okay with pissing people off, but at the same time, it's a big crowd and there's a big name behind the Timney. I got a lot going on. Choose your battles wisely. So, got a little bit of it out of my system. I want to be careful. I don't want to get too busy and spread myself too thin, shall we say. Been there. All right. So unless anybody's got anything else, I've had a good time. This has been a good day. I got the supercharger torqued down. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of things over the years. Timney's one of them. There's another one, but like I said, in time, it all comes out in the right time anyways. I want to make sure it's the right time and not in the wrong space. So anyways, guys, if you don't make it for this following week just because of how busy it is and you're out visiting family, Merry Christmas. I did not get my lights up, but I do have my fake candles going. They are beautiful. I enjoy them, especially when I watch this video back, because sometimes I do, just to get ideas of what I can and can't do to improve these videos. Have a good Christmas, and I'm sure I'll catch you before the new year, but if not, have a happy new year, and we will meet back here. You can always get a hold of me, whether it's here, Instagram, tactical_pontoon, or the website. You can send me an email via that, which would be tacticalpontoon.com. My email as well is tacticalpontoon@gmail.com. If you need anything, even leave a comment here or on one of my other videos. I do try to answer everything as best as possible. So, guys, until next time, have some fun. Go put some rounds down range for me, because I'm normally here or working on cars. I will definitely get out to the range more in 2023. You can believe that. All right, guys. Unless you guys have anything else, we'll catch you next time. Later.